we have a podcast.
Diving deep into all things Texans, both on and off the field. Here's Sean Pendergast and Pro Football Hall of Famer, the General, John McClain. Welcome to Houtopia.
All right, John, you got some general news and notes for the people?
I do. I got 5 of them here.
Let's do it.
The Texans just had a game in which C.J. Stroud, Devin Singletary, and Noah Brown, who's been an incredible surprise, had at least 350 yards passing, 150 receiving, 150 rushing for the first time since 1998, when Peyton Manning was a rookie for the Colts, and he threw for 350. Marshall Faulk ran for at least 150, and the wide receiver shocked me. I thought it would be Marvin Harrison, who would have been in his second year, but it wasn't. Do you know who it is? If you've seen
Torrance Marshall. I saw this stat.
Torrance Small.
Torrance Small. Okay, someone put Torrance Marshall. Torrance Small.
They got that one mixed up with Terrence Marshall.
I guess,
yeah. Small. I couldn't believe it. I remember him vaguely, but I couldn't. I was stunned by that one.
That's crazy. And you pointed it out, John. That's not the last time it happened involving a rookie quarterback. That's the last time it happened, period. It just so happens that was Peyton Manning's rookie year. By the way, that happened in Peyton Manning's rookie year, and the Colts weren't nearly in Peyton's rookie year what the Texans are in C.J. Stroud's rookie year. That was a bad Colts
already
team.
Won more games than the Colts won when Peyton was a rookie, and I don't think Stroud's going to come close to Manning's rookie interceptions of 28.
How many was it?
28.
Can you imagine?
I was covering the NFL then, and I remember when Tony Dungy took over, I was doing a story with him, and I was with him, and he said, first thing I got to do is get with Peyton Manning and get him to cut back on those interceptions, and he did.
He did. Did he ever? He ever?
The second one is you go back 40 years, and he's the only rookie quarterback to engineer back-to-back come from behind victories in the last 2 minutes.
So say that again. He's the only rookie to engineer back-to-back comeback drives
victories in the last 2 minutes in the last 40 years.
Yeah, John, he's got the it factor, man. Like it's 9 games, so I've caveat everything with it's 9 games. But I have rooted for so many teams that don't have guys like this at quarterback. Like I've watched Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and, guys like that through the years, just where the guys where you watch, and if you're on the other side, you just know it's coming. You know what I mean? It's like you're at the doctor's office. Like, it's like, okay, let's go. Get the rubber glove out. I know it's coming here. All right. I know it's coming. And that's what CJ Stroud is so far this season. John, he really should have 3 if the Texans could get off the field against Atlanta. This really all started. This part of C.J. Stroud's repertoire really started week 5 in that Atlanta game where he drove the team down and hit Dalton Schultz for that go-ahead touchdown on a play that he drew up. So, yeah, that was
the next one.
Yeah, let's keep going. Keep the notes coming.
Involving Noah Brown. I went back through his game logs on every game he played with the Cowboys, and he was there actually 6 seasons. He was hurt 1 season. Last year was his best season. He had, I think, 43 catches, something like that. Mm-hmm. So the last 2 games, he's had 153 and 172 yards. He never had a 100-yard game with the Cowboys. The best he ever did was 91 yards last season, and he beat Cincinnati. And then the next best he ever had, 85 yards against the Texans. That must have gotten Nick Casario's attention because in that game against the Texans, 4 catches, 85 yards. Remember, the Cowboys barely won, and he averaged 21.2 yards per catch. It's what he has done since he came back from being injured, but mainly these last 2 games, he's open, and that last play he made to break the tackles and get another 10 yards, that was just so big by Noah Brown, who is in the last year of his contract.
Yeah, well, he's in the only year of his contract. It was a 1-year deal. Like these 1-year guys that Nick signed. Noah Brown, 1 year, $2.6 million. Dalton Schultz, 1 year, $6.5 million, something like that. Sheldon Rankins, 1 year, just under $10 million. Denzel Perryman, 1 year, $2.5 million, something like that. Devin Singletary, 1 year, $2.75 million. I'm missing one. Oh, Shaquille Griffin, huge pick in that last game. 1 year, $3.5 million. Nick has hit it out of the ballpark with his veteran 1-year signings. And it's going to be fascinating to see two things. One, how many of these guys he brings back? Like, how many of these guys want to come back on fairly cheap 1 year, maybe 2 year cheap deals just to be part of this whole thing? Because there clearly is something special going on with this team right now. Two, what does Nick Caserio look like shopping in the Dior aisles of free agency outside of the Texans building? You know what I mean? Like, he's given big contracts out, but it's to guys that we're familiar with that are already in the building. He's going to have enough cap space, John, that if they feel there's a huge need, if there's a big defensive tackle on the free agency market this year, like Javon Hargrave was last year, does Nick go spending on that? Does he bring that person in? How does he do spending the big bucks on free agents that are true, like bring in from another team free agency? I'm really, really intrigued to see how that goes because, as you point out, with Noah Brown and others, he's hit it out of the park this year.
I'm writing a column on if Ryans is a candidate for Coach of the Year and Stroud MVP, why not Caserio for Executive?
I agree.
Of the Year.
I agree.
Devin Singletary carried the ball 30 times. Last time Texans had a running back carry the ball 30 times. Alfred Blue, 2015.
What? Alfred Blue carried the ball 30 times in a game. John, who was it against?
I think it was at Cleveland, and he had over 100 yards.
Okay.
He was a workhorse.
Yeah, that was Ryan Mallett's only start that season where he went from beginning to end in that game because they had benched Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Mallett starts against Cleveland, threw a touchdown pass to J.J. Watt in that game, if you recall. And then the next week against Cincinnati, he tore his pectoral muscle, and he was done after 2 starts. Yeah, that was Alfred Blue carrying the ball 30 times. John, you and I lived in a world and covered a team in which Alfred Blue was carrying the ball 30 times in a game. That's brutal.
He did, and they finished 9-7 in Bill O'Brien's second season. Now, the highest, according to Pro Football Focus, the highest graded player the Texans had in Sunday's game, and they had a lot of players that played great, was Sheldon Rankins coming back from an injury. He had a grade of 93.8, and that was the highest for any Texan. And I was kind of surprised some of the others were as low, but his was 93.8. He played great. It's 3 sacks most of his career. Last time the Texans had a player with 3 sacks was J.J. Watt in 2018 when he was on his way to 16 that season.
John, Sheldon Rankins looked like Aaron Donald on Sunday.
He did, didn't he? I watched Brian Baldinger go over every one of his sacks using the end zone camera, and he just went on and on. He just beat guys.
Yeah.
And even bad. One time, Jonathan Grenard worked over Orlando Brown Jr., just like he worked over Ike Kwanu at Charlotte, and he abused Orlando Brown. He's huge. Just drove him back into Joe Burrow. He got 1 sack, but he was great. And Jonathan Grenard wasn't one of the top graded players, but he's in the last year of his contract. He's going to get paid by somebody.
He is, and good for him. Hope it's the Texans. I'd love to see Jonathan Grenard stick around. That would be great.
What's going to happen on these contracts, Sean? Most of these guys know it's their only chance to get a big one, and they're going to go where they get the most money because it's just the way it is. Hopefully, D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio, who work so well together, will target 3 or 4, and then maybe get guys like they got this year guys who are hungry, who are looking for a big payday, will come in here and buy in and play for a winner that probably next year should be favored to win the AFC South.
Well, yes, I agree. This is where I really like having D'Amico working with Nick. Is that I think having D'Amico there as a guy who can kind of, as they're going through free agents, kind of sniff out the guys that are the good culture fits on these 1-year deals. I think that's the commonality of all these guys they brought in. They haven't brought in any 1-year, quitters or turds or anything like that. Like they brought in guys who are like we talked to Devin Singletary in the post game. Dameon Pierce is going to be back pretty soon. And if Devin Singletary isn't carrying the ball, forget about 30, even 10 times in the next game, and Damien's getting the ball, Devin Singletary's cool with that because he just wants to win football games. I think D'Amico being a former player and being with the 49ers and now being with this team here, I just feel like their ability to sniff out guys who are the right guys to bring in on deals like that is going to be at its peak. And as long as we're talking about rankings, John, the third sack that he had was crucial. If I'm not mistaken, it was on the drive where they held the Bengals to a field goal on that last series of downs. There's three people we need to shout out, that it stayed at 27-27 instead of being 31-27 with a touchdown. Although I think even at 31-27, I feel like CJ Stroud would have gone down and got a touchdown instead of a field goal if he needed to. That's how well he's playing right now. Three people we need to shout out. One is Sheldon Rankins for the sack. I think it might have been a third down sack too, if I'm not mistaken, that forced them into a field goal situation. Two, DeAndre Houston Carson for tackling Tyler Boyd on that long catch and run that kept him out of the end zone. I thought he was going to score. Houston Carson came out of nowhere out of the screen and knocked him out at about the 6-yard line or whatever it was, saved a touchdown, kept it at a field goal. So the Texans are a worst case scenario going to overtime. Third person we need to prop up, John, Tyler Boyd himself. Thank you for dropping that ball in the end zone, Tyler Boyd. Great job by you.
Second drop. First one he dropped sprinting across the field, he might still be running.
Yep. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you want to see more of our videos, be sure to check out our playlist and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest updates. Links are in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.